My name is Christopher Zirkle. I just want to share with you my experiences with Mastery Connect and some of the ways in which I'm currently using it with my students. I teach at Fuquay-Varina Middle School, which is in Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina. Our school consists of 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. We have about 950 students at our school. I currently teach 7th grade language arts. I have 4 classes and I have 120 students. Our county gives our students quarterly benchmark assessments based on the Common Core standards. The data that we receive from that does give me the information on how my students are performing on each particular standard, but that's just once a quarter. I don't have anything during the quarter that I can use on a daily or weekly basis to be able to check to see how my students are performing on each specific Common Core standard.
Hello, I'm Brenda Pascal from Fuquay-Varina Middle School, and I'm the instructional resource teacher at our school. One of my jobs is to help teachers administer the formative assessments benchmarks each quarter in preparation for the end of grade test at the end of the year. The data that we receive back is given by teacher, by class, by student, and then their objective. Teachers can use this information to improve their instruction, remediate, reteach. The information that they get is helpful. The students themselves don't usually get the information unless the teacher creates their own spreadsheet and gives the information to the student. We are looking for ways to make this more student-friendly as well as teacher-friendly.
But the quarterly assessments, I only get that report once every quarter, and it's not user-friendly in the sense that it's not something that is in a format that I can easily give to my students so they can see their results. I would have to kind of create my own spreadsheet to be able to give them that specific information. It is excellent information, but I don't have something I can use on a daily or weekly basis. The past couple of years, my end of grade scores have been a little bit below where they needed to be. My current benchmark assessments that have been given have been lower than the other 2 language arts teachers that I work with.
Okay, Mr. Zirkle, in looking at your test scores from last year, they're lower than what they need to be, and so we need to come up with strategies. And I'm also looking at the first quarter benchmark, and it seems that your scores are still lower than the other teachers at your grade level. So what I need for you to do is I need for you to come up with some strategies that you can possibly use in your classroom that will help to build your test scores. So if there's anything that you can think of to do, I want you to do some research and maybe we can get back together and talk about it.
I need something that can help me work with my students on a daily and weekly basis on the specific Common Core standards that are assigned for each unit. I need something that can give me instant feedback and data on how they're doing on each particular objective, and I also need ways in which I can have my students work and remediate on the specific standards that they need to improve in. After I spoke to my department chair, Mrs. Ritchie, I realized that I needed to find a new tool to use with my students. I needed to find either a new teaching model, something had to change. I need to find something that can help me increase my students' standardized test scores. So I spent several months researching, and I came across something called Mastery Connect. Mastery Connect has revolutionized the way I assess my students and the way in which I teach my students. Traditionally, when I give my students a test, give them a Scantron test, for example, after I grade it and enter their scores, I would give the test back to the students. A week may have passed during this time. They see their score, they see the questions they got right, they see the questions they got wrong, and that's about it. They don't know which specific Common Core standards were assessed on that test. They don't know for each specific standard how they are doing, whether they are showing mastery or near mastery, or if they need to remediate a specific standard. They don't have as well instant resources they can use to turn around and then target specific standards and remediate themselves. Mastery Connect has given me and my students all of those things.
Well, I would say the disadvantage to it is probably because whenever you're taking a test and you get an answer wrong and you have like the pink lines on it, and the disadvantage about it is you don't know how you got it wrong and what you need to do to get up and get it right. And so, like, that would be an advantage for, like, if you could actually do that.
The way Mastery Connect is helping me increase my students' standardized test scores is in the way that I give assessments now. I create an assessment, the same assessments that I've been giving to my students, but I give them a small, what we call a bubble sheet. When I create the assessment, I assign the specific Common Core standards that are being assessed on that particular test. The students then take the assessment. When they're done, they walk up to my computer, they scan their results, it instantly grades their test, it shows them the questions they got correct, the questions they got incorrect. My students then go back to their seats and they go over the questions that they got incorrect, and they then try to find the correct answer. They then maybe kind of figure out what occurred, why they got that question wrong.
Well, the thing I like about it is that whenever you put the Scantron up to the computer, like, it gives you your grade automatically, so you don't have to wait like a week or two for the test grade. And you also, online, you can actually look at your answers and see what you got wrong and how you could fix how you got it wrong.
After my students have finished an assessment, in real time, I can see their results. In real time, I can look at the specific standards that were on that test, and I can see which students showed mastery, which students are near mastery, and which students need remediation. I can then, based on that data, drive my instruction in the next few minutes or the instruction for the next day or week. It's amazing.
Well, I think it would be helpful for me because I could go on there and I could see what I'm doing wrong and what's good, and I could just, when it's red, I could just go on the one that's red and I could just go and help, just try to get it a better grade. And because before that I wouldn't be able to do that, and now I wouldn't be able to, like, have a better grade. And I'm happy I have this because now I'm trying to get my grade up. I'm trying to get everything good, back to normal. So I think Mastery Connect is a good thing for me.
I want to give you a brief tour of Mastery Connect and show you how I'm currently using it with my students. The first thing that I do is I create a curriculum map. I'm currently in Unit 4. I'm in the third quarter. And I base my curriculum on my county's curriculum map. I look at the Common Core standards that they are covering for each particular unit, and I use those standards as a foundation for my unit. I then begin to develop assessments that I'll use to begin to collect data on my students to find out which particular objectives they have mastery of and which particular objectives we need to remediate. Just moments after the students complete their assessment, in real time I can see their data, I can see the objectives assessed on that particular assignment, project, test, and I can also determine which objectives each particular student has either shown mastery in, near mastery, or needs to remediate. I've trained my students how to interpret their Mastery Connect reports. The first thing I've trained them to do is to recognize which standards were assessed on that particular project, assignment, or assessment. I have them note which standards they have mastery of, which standards they are near mastery, and which standards they are remedial. Then my strategy to increase my students' overall scores this year is to target what we call their weakest link. When they pick a specific standard they're going to remediate in, they're given resources. This is the key to Mastery Connect. This is where my students are really going to get the most out of this program. My students now have the knowledge of what their skill is on assessments. They know which particular standards we're on a given assignment or assessment. They know which standards they're strong in, which standards they're weak in. But that's just knowledge, that's information. The resources, this is the key for them to really be able to get remediated in a particular standard and reassess and then be able to show growth. So what I do, Mastery Connect, they go back to my website. I store all the resources for each particular objective within my website. And Mastery Connect, I simply just have a link to my website. And I do that because I find that it's easier to have all the resources on my website so students can get to them very easily instead of having to go through the reports to get to this specific link. I'll give them an easy to read definition and explanation of the particular standard they're working on. I'll also provide a variety of reference or refreshing type lessons that can help them quickly remediate. These are some videos that kind of demonstrate and model this particular standard. I also provide them with new reading activities that they can use to practice the standard they're working on with. I also provide them links to ebooks and other resources. Once they are done with their practice and they feel that they're ready for another assessment on that particular standard, then I give them their bubble sheet code. They take the assessment, and then once that's complete, we're going to look at those results and we're going to determine whether or not the student has indeed moved or progressed and is ready to move on to their next weakest link, or if the student may need to spend a little bit more time on that specific standard.
Okay, so on Mastery Connect, you start off by taking a test. You can take a test on your phone, your iPad, your computer, your desktop, or the old-fashioned way by this really cool thing, by holding it up to a camera and it just automatically does it. It's really cool. And then after you're done, you go to your email and you can check your results. If your weakest link, you can go to your resources and you can study and then retake a different test on that link to see if you improved or not. If you improve, you can go ahead and go to your next weakest link, but if you didn't, you probably want to study some more and then take a different test.
Podcast. So today, me, Callie, and
Zimmer
are going to be talking about Mastery Connect. So, Callie, explain this amazing system to us.
Okay, so first you're going to take a test, and then you'll go onto your email, and automatically your reports are already there.
Did you say automatically?
Yep, all you do is log in, and it's there as fast as you can say.
I like pie.
That's amazing!